Welcome in to Three the Harder Way, aka the three-man Jalen Weave, aka the best big three since LeBron, D Wade, and Bosh. If you are listening on YouTube, be sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and also leave a comment. If you are listening on a podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, anybody podcasts, leave us a review there and also subscribe over there as well. If you don't know who I am the walking bucket providing instant offense. It's your boy Savage. Up here, we got my guy back from PTO, paid time off, vacationing, doing other things, maybe suspended from the league because of Kyrie-like activities. The coach on the sidelines, taking the school on and off the court. When I say it's really shitty, it's really shitty. Sheedy, welcome back. What up, though?
Hey man, it's great to be back. Someone was holding down my spot. It was a little lukewarm, but I'm about to make it hot today.
Look forward to it. Up here, we got my guy, your favorite DJ, Sample Man himself, Mr. Tell Shakir. Too. What up?
What's good, man? Hey, shout out to Shari Irvin over here, man. You know what I'm saying? Doing this thing. But it's all good, man. Still, getting my emotional aspect back from seeing Wakanda Forever. You know what I'm saying? I'm back to being myself, being my feelings for the last couple of days, but we all good.
Man, if y'all have not watched or gone to see Wakanda Forever, please go see it, man. It was definitely one of the best Marvel movies that I've seen. Emotional roller coaster, but we ain't here for Wakanda Forever. We're here for some basketball, of course. And this week, wanted to take a look at the teams that made significant moves in the NBA prior to the NBA season starting. Of course, you got teams like the Spurs who traded away DeJounte Murray, and the Hawks who went and got DeJounte Murray. The Timberwolves traded Rudy Gobert, the Jazz who removed Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, just so on and so forth. So teams that made significant transactions over the course of the offseason leading to the NBA season. Just want to see how them teams looking right now. So each of us have two of the divisions on both sides of the conference. And with Sheedy being back after a little while, I want him to go first. So where we starting off, Sheedy?
Central. Let's start out east. Sorry, I gotta get my notes from my laptop. Good trusty one, because it wouldn't load right now. But in the Central Division, man. First of all, just so we understand, I do want to give a quick breakdown. Right now, as it stands, of those 5 teams, 4 of them are contending for playoff or play-in position. In the East, by the way, Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons. As my brothers always stated, we're not going to talk about those insignificant moves made by the Pistons and or the Bulls. I guess if Lonzo was back, I would probably talk more about the Bulls, but he's not. The other Ball brother is, so I'm not going to talk about that either. But I am going to speak and start in the Hoosier city and state itself in Indiana. I personally think this is a surprise right now. Halliburton's right now averaging 21 and 10. We said earlier, give this man the keys to Indiana, and they've given him the keys. And so 21 and 10, this team is 6 and 6 right now. Mathurin sounding like someone's medicine. All right. Well, he's giving you 20 a night with that medicine. He's also shooting 45% from the field. Now, the one thing that you still got Buddy Hield, you still got Miles Turner. Miles Turner's rebounds is down a little bit, right? But man, he's still averaging 3 blocks a game. And so Indiana is still one of those teams that they're not only just in the contention right now, but I think they'll be in a playing scenario possibly as you move down. And I think they still may make a transaction as well. They haven't made a significant transaction, but I mean, they drafted very well to get him. And I didn't see it coming personally. The next one up the ladder would be Cleveland. Cleveland is the one that made the most significant trade of Donovan Mitchell. They won 8 straight games, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. For those that don't know, they are 8-4, and they won literally all 8 of those in a row. That's huge. And if it wasn't for Steph Curry figuring out how to score 40 a night the other night, this team would be at least 9-3 right now. So it's a great team right now. This team is shooting 48% from the field and 39 from 3-point. Of course, this is led by Donovan Mitchell, my guy singing backup on all vocals, Gerald Levert. Even K-Love is giving you over 35% from 3. And don't forget about the white man himself, Osman as well. Usman, excuse me, giving you that as well. So kudos to them, coaching staff. They're doing a phenomenal job. Donovan Mitchell is looking like he's possibly in the MVP category. I would actually put him in the MVP category, for being honest, even though it's early, for what he's been able to do there in Cleveland. And a lot of these games as well have been without Darius Garland. And so we haven't seen them all gel yet. And for me to say that they won 8 straight in some of those games were without Darius Garland is kind of scary, because Darius Garland was an all-star last season, and looking to be another one this upcoming season. And then we turn our attention, ladies and gentlemen, to the best team right now in basketball is the Milwaukee Bucks. You can call it what you see. Team that didn't make a significant moves, but I feel like it was significant enough to talk about them because no one else is talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. No one. You see KD is crossing people up and getting all these accolades, but they are below 500. Meanwhile, Giannis is over here averaging 32, 10, and 5. 32, 10, and 5. If the Joker needed someone to go against for the MVP, he may not need to look any further than Milwaukee himself. And you also have Big Nose Lopez down there protecting the paint at 2.7 blocks a game. He almost giving you 3 blocks a game. Bobby Portis is collecting 11 rebounds, ladies and gentlemen. You heard this right. Bobby Portis, cornerman Portis, is getting in the paint and establishing himself for 11 rebounds a night. And this team is still the number 1 team in the league right now without Chris Middleton, the Robin to the Batman, who is an MVP candidate as well, with Giannis. So right now, if I can close up about the Central Division right now, great move by the Cavs that's going to keep them in playoff contention for a significant amount of years. The Pacers, hey, go ahead and get rid of those other 2 players and don't take Russell, though. Find something else. But keep going with what you're doing, and that draft that you had was very well. And I look forward to that progressing from there. And again, ladies and gentlemen, you have got to continue to mention or start mentioning the Milwaukee Bucks. This team is good. They're not even good on, not that they may not look as well on paper, but every night they're bringing it because they're led by an MVP candidate. And Giannis, again, giving you 32, 10, and 5, fellas. You can't sneeze at that one. We talk about the best power forward in the league. He resides in Milwaukee right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, real quick, with the Pacers, I've watched a lot of Pacers games just because I have invested interest in Tyrese Halliburton. Again, 40, 50, 90, easy. Like, it's easy. And if you look at his advanced stats, he's doing that not off catch and shoot. It's off the dribble, man. Like, he's pulling up in your face 40% from 3. I think it might be 45% if I remember correctly. But Benedict Mathurin, I don't know what like he on, but like when he's on, like that first quarter, I think they played the Nuggets, and I'm losing that game, of course, because Jokic is a monster when he comes in. But he had like 23 points in the first quarter. It's like, dude, like, what is wrong with you? Why are you scoring so efficiently? But I think that's a testament to Rick Carlisle, who I've always lauded as a great coach, even back when he was with Dallas. Even his first stint with the Pacers, he just knows how to get the most out of his players, and you see that now with the 2 young players, with Buddy Hield and with Miles Turner. I don't know if they're gonna trade both. I would trade at least Buddy Hield just to see what I can get for him, unless I'm getting like a significant big man back. But they got a couple of good big men that back up Miles Turner as well too. So I don't know exactly what they're looking for. If they could be in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, I don't know. But I like what they got going on. I didn't even realize that Donovan Mitchell was averaging 32 points a game for the Cavaliers. I just looked down real quick and I was like, damn, he like shorter than me, putting up 32 points a game. And as Sheedy mentioned, that's without, Garland being in the lineup consistently. And yeah, Milwaukee, it's self-explanatory. I wouldn't even brought them up. I'm like, we all know Milwaukee. We should know that Milwaukee is good. They're just one of those cohesive teams where it's like they're boring to watch, but you can't stop them. Like, you can't stop them once they get going. When they have all 3 players, like when they have Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, it's a problem. It is a problem, period. So yeah, I definitely agree with what you said, Sheedy. Any comments too?
Nah, did everything good, bro. I think when you talk about the Bucks, you're literally still talking about a championship like team. Like they hadn't lost anybody significant on that from their championship roster. So what now is just chemistry with y'all love teams that don't have the playoff experience. The Bucks is the complete opposite, but this is what teams aspire to get to. So I think that's what we're seeing. And then when you add mid back in, I mean, they're definitely favorites for the championship, and yet nobody's talking about it. So respect to you on that one. And of course, y'all know I got to talk about Donnie Mitchell, man. I think that was the best offseason move of the summer. And he's averaging 32, 33 points a game when he don't have to be the best player on the team, but he's making an example. And you know what I'm saying? Shout out to actually Shaq for getting this one right when he said he wanted to call out Donovan Mitchell a couple of years ago because he saw that potential. We're seeing a whole new different player, you know, in Donovan Mitchell right now, and it's exciting to see. So shout out to you for that one as well.
All right, go ahead, take us to.
Yeah, can I just say
go ahead,
something?
Go ahead.
Ooh, my fault, Savage. Real quick, and to your point about the trade for Buddy Hield, I think the Pacers were a little bit more reluctant to trade him at first because they weren't sure what they were getting out of Mathurin. But I mean, at this point,
you gotta go.
You get rid of him and see what you got, right? Open up the floor and like I said, whatever the return is a return, maybe a veteran. And this team can actually be in the playoffs, even with the trade. So I'm all for the Pacers. My fault, I do yield now.
All right, so actually this is updated, which is funny. So we're actually going to go to the Atlantic division. Of course, there's a team that a lot of people want me to talk about. We're going to wait to talk about them just for a second because we're going to talk about a team that literally just fell out of the 10th seed as we speak right now, and that's the Philadelphia 76ers. I have the Sixers being a top team in the Eastern Conference. My bad. What we're seeing now, even though James Harden has been hurt, what we're seeing from the Philadelphia 76ers is pure not chemistry. It is pure like what are we doing here? It's too much dribbling. James Harden's still dribbling 15 times a possession. That's off. And then when you got somebody like Tyrese Maxey, who in my opinion, should be in most improved player of the year considerations. He's doing his damn thing. Last year, averaging 17 and a half. And I told y'all this year, he was going to come in at least at 22, 21. And he's at 23, averaging his career high in assists and steal as well. So we got a potential all-star in Tyrese Maxey, or a dog in Tyrese Maxey. But we still got James Harden, who wants to hold about 15 minutes. And they still got a coach who I ain't got to say too much about. It's too much that's been said about Doc Rivers on this. We calling him Glenn. Until they get back into a top 5 seed in the Eastern Conference, we're calling him Glenn Rivers. He don't deserve the name Doc because I'm not finna disrespect Dr. Dre or Dr. Strange. We're gonna move on to the Sixers. Just do better, y'all. Just do better. We're gonna move on to the team that actually, I believe just lost, and they actually let the Thunder put 122 points on them in the third quarter, which is crazy because I actually said that they were gonna be an okay team, but whatever happens. That's the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks is still doing their thing right now, but RJ Barrett, he's literally averaging the same numbers as he's averaged last year. If you look them up right now, they're pretty identical, maybe 0.2 off. But they added Jalen Brunson, and of course they look a little bit more fluid offensively. Jalen Brunson's coming in averaging 19 a game, which is pretty good for a Knicks team who's still in the play-in hunt. If the playoffs started today, they'd be in the play-ins right now. So a lot of people probably didn't expect that. But I do think the Knicks' potential is still there. They just can't let a team like OKC put 122 points on them in the third quarter. That's crazy. We're gonna go to Toronto. They didn't add too many players, of course. They just, steady Betty, but they're still a top 6 team in the Eastern Conference. Gotta salute to them as well. Of course, Boston, they added a player in Malcolm Brogdon, who I thought would be a bigger impact, but you got a player like Marcus Smart, who knows that offense, who, some people laughed at when he said that he wanted a bigger role in the offense. And now that we see him get it, he's averaging 7 assists a game. He's thriving in the point guard role, and he's locking down the best perimeter defense. So, of course, once we saw Malcolm Brogdon wanted to go to the Celtics, or did go to the Celtics, we all thought, okay, cool, he's gonna start. Smart's doing his damn thing. So I want to give credit to him. And of course, having Malcolm Brogdon off the bench makes the Celtics even better. That's why they're the number 1 team in this division. So kudos to them. They still, whatever happens with Udoka, that's with Udoka. I forget what's the coach name that's coaching them now. Help me out.
I forgot his name. Damn. I'll look it up real quick. Hold on. see.
Let me say, I should definitely have it because I'm talking about the Celtics.
Joe Mazzulla.
Joe Mazzulla, shout out to him.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. Like they're still like they didn't lose the defensive identity that Udoka did provide for them last season. And you see, Jason Tatum averaging was 30 some points a game.
Crazy. He going crazy.
crazy. So hey man, salute to him. Salute to the Celtics. Jaylen Brown still doing his thing as well. 32 points a game. Jason Tatum's averaging 32 points a game. So that small forward, number one small forward in the league, maybe his title by the end of the season. Definitely, no disrespect to Brian there, but you got Jason Tatum, who's literally evolved right in front of our eyes, and we got to salute that brother. And last but not least, them damn Nets.
Hey, they winning games right now. Hey, they winning games.
Yeah, I'm happy you're doing all that, Sheedy, because they are indeed winning games. And what we're seeing is the fact that Kevin Durant told y'all over the summer, I don't want to play for Nash anymore. And I know people say that, oh, Kyrie and KD, they brought him in. Cool. But what's your favorite saying, Savage? Information change, and we got to roll with what the information is provided. Steve Nash was not a good coach for this team. Steve Nash will have rotations that you'll start Ben Simmons at shooting guard. I literally seen that for a couple games myself. That's terrible. When you got Coach Vaughn, who's deserving of a chance, coming in and saying, all right, man, let's get you back comfortable because you're literally, we don't see the same Ben Simmons that we once saw in Philadelphia. Whether that's mental, whether that's physical, whether that's both, we don't know. But the fact that he's able to come off the bench in a center role, a backup center role, that's best utilizing Ben Simmons' strength. Like Draymond Green can do that, Ben Simmons can do the exact same thing. And I think once, if we can get Ben Simmons back physically and mentally and put him back into that starting role, I think it'll be great for the Nets. But ever since Steve Nash firing, they're top three defensively, and Kevin Durant still putting up 30 points a game. You know what I'm saying? And people want to say, well, Kyrie's not there. Kyrie's missing. Kyrie's a bad defender. No. Chemistry matters. And when you got players that got a coach they don't want to play for, you're not going to put all your effort in. You know what I'm saying? Also, Steph Curry, averaging 10 points a game. He didn't get a chance to play when Steve Nash was back as well. So he's finally back in the rotation. Steph Curry is a knockdown shooter, and that matters. So, me and Trevor actually talked about it yesterday on Let's Be Real, and he felt like the Nets were on a honeymoon phase. I think it's the complete opposite. I think that the Nets are on their way up because once you do put Kyrie Irving into this system, they're going to be a better team. Hopefully they can be the Nets team that we thought they were going to be. But you got to get Nash off their sideline because you literally have players that didn't want to play for him. Would y'all want to do y'all put, and y'all are basketball players, do y'all put most of y'all effort into a coach that you don't want to play with? Just be real.
Respectfully, nah, I don't. I didn't. Because I ain't like it. I was like, nah, I ain't F with it.
Respectfully, you play high school ball, Sheedy. You coach ball.
Yeah. And what you and I were talking about earlier, too, like my players come at 5:30 in the morning because they respect me, right? And you wouldn't see that same thing happening with Steve Nash.
If Steve Nash would have said, hey, y'all, let's meet up at 6 o'clock for practice, players looking like, hell no. But I'm pretty sure they're looking like, okay, 6:30.
You know what, too? Because I didn't take this seriously at the time, but I think they interviewed, who's that, Cam Thomas, I think, in the summer.
Cam Thomas hadn't played all season.
And he rolled his eyes. He was like, I ain't F with Steve Nash.
Come on, dog. Chemistry matters, and Cam Thomas is a dog. He should have been playing. And thank God he is. So, like I'm saying, we're seeing a different team. I get, the beginning and, them bringing Steve Nash, that's whatever that, BS was of them thinking that Nash could come in and not being not having a coach, that theory. Yeah, y'all mess up on that. Players mess up. You know what I'm saying? We just got to call ourselves on it, call them out on it. And you get new information, you keep it going. And what we're seeing is a better Nets team. So, that's it. They really ain't add nobody besides Ben Simmons, but shout out to them.
Real quick with I think the Knicks got to get rid of Thibodeau, and they're not gonna do it this season, obviously. But
why though?
I feel like Tibbs, he's kind of like Larry Brown, where you have you get about 3 years, and it's like, all right, if nothing happens, we gotta get him out because his methodology it falls on deaf ears after a while. And I think what's indicative of Thibodeau as a coach is Julius Randle, the player, because I like Julius Randle, fellow left-handed player, but he is he don't do nothing to move a team. He should not be leading no team in scoring. He should not be doing that because he is the most inefficient scorer, in my opinion, that you could have on your team. RJ Barrett, his stats has not moved because Randall is still there. And Brunson, he's not, I think Brunson might be third in scoring, which is like, that's not like Jalen Brunson. Brunson want to score. That's what he wants to do. And so they got to do something with Julius Randle. I don't know who wants Julius Randle. I wouldn't want him because I'm like, he's not a winning player for me. He's a bench player that can come in and get buckets and then that's it. So they're going to have to do something with Julius Randle. As far as the Nets, with them, I think they won like 4 out of 5 games, if I'm not mistaken. I actually love Jacque Vaughn as a coach. He should have been the coach before Steve Nash, and I love Steve Nash. Me and Sheedy can argue about Steve Nash all day long, but I ain't getting to that right now. But but Jacque Vaughn, he should have been a coach 2 years ago, and now that he has a chance, you see players actually happy and buying into that. And I think, like Took mentioned, that pays dividends in the long run. So I think this is not a honeymoon phase. I think this is actually what it was supposed to be, having a good time. You saw Kevin Durant when Jacque Vaughn won his first game. Kevin Durant led the, hey, man, shout out to you for winning your first game. Here's a game ball. Like Kevin Durant, I don't see that often with Kevin Durant. I mean, he's a leader, obviously.
I've never seen it.
By how he plays, but him, as far as saying that in front of the whole locker room, that's a shift, I think, in my opinion. And with them winning these next couple of games, I think it bodes well for the Brooklyn Nets. Definitely. Sheedy, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah, I'll touch upon the Nets for a little bit as well. Just the fact that there are so many rumors out there about who's going to coach the Nets without giving Jacque Vaughn a significant chance is disgusting in so many words, because the Nets already had Jacque Vaughn, to your point, before Steve was even like there and doing what he was doing. And so I like the move for the Nets personally. I said that this is a playoff team with KD. And it could be a playoff team without Kyrie. Now Kyrie's coming back, of course, and with some other stuff. But the one thing that I said that would keep them from being contenders for me was the coach, was Steve Nash. Yeah. Now, does this make them contenders for me? I'm not saying that yet. I need to see some more out of big Jacque Vaughn. But I will give credit where it's due. And they made the right decision with getting rid of Steve Nash. Right now, or when they did at that moment. The other team I just want to talk about and just gloss over really quickly is the Toronto Raptors. Toronto Raptors have 7 players that are averaging double digits on any given night. So you never know who's going to score. However, Spicy P giving you 25, 9, and 8 a night. Phenomenal. Again, another player who we don't talk about because he's in Toronto. They're not a really hyped team because they don't have Kawhi anymore or whatever. But these type of numbers are phenomenal, and they're only averaging 12 turnovers a game. Ladies and gentlemen, that's about 3 turnovers per quarter. That is phenomenal, keeping the ball where it needs to know who's actually going to score on any given night for the Raptors. So shout out to the Raptors in that division as well.
Real quick, trade scenario, because Sheedy is an advocate for trading a player at their highest value. This is my trade scenario. Would y'all, I'm asking both y'all, would y'all trade Spicy P and Fred VanVleet, and however they make it work with pieces, those are main pieces in my opinion, for SGA and draft capital? So Spicy P, Fred VanVleet, that's the main part of the trade for SGA and maybe like some draft picks. Would y'all do that trade?
I would, because SGA is averaging 32 points a game itself. That's for one. For two, if you're getting a draft pick from the Thunder, I think they're going to start declining. So it'll end up being a top 10 pick either way. So you tell me you're getting SGA, who will be an all-star as soon as he touches down in the Eastern Conference, and a draft pick, because you got players coming up behind Siakam. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a Jeremy Grant situation. Jeremy Grant's shining. Spicer Pete, he's going to shine anywhere he goes. So I wouldn't, but I can see it happening, especially if it's a top 10 pick.
I asked that because they said there are rumblings for SGA not liking his time in Oklahoma City. He is Canadian, so putting 2 and 2 together potentially.
I wouldn't do it if I was the Raptors, but I would do it if I was the Thunder. Because the Thunder still would probably have Josh Giddey and some other play. I got drafted my big earlier this year, and so I could see a resurgence from Oklahoma City, but I wouldn't do it if I was the Raptors, because I said earlier you trade everyone but Scotty Barnes on this team.
Mhm.
And you build around Scotty Barnes. And if it is a long-term decision, then yes, I can see that. But like I was saying, for next year, I wouldn't do it from a Raptors standpoint. But I would do it for OKC. Yes.
Okay.
I think you can do a Siakam for SGA trade kind of straight up,
Straight
honestly.
up. I wouldn't
Yeah.
be mad at that either. That's like all-star for all-star. And I say get rid of Fred VanVleet because I'm like SJ gonna be ball dominant, and he's not really a point guard, and neither is Fred VanVleet. So I'm like, I don't know. You can make it work some kind of different way, but I don't know. Whereas Oklahoma City, you got Giddey who can run point. You got Lou Dort, who's your off-ball guard. You're gonna have Chet at some point. You got Spicy P. That's good in my opinion. If I'm being honest, that's good. That's not bad at all.
That'll be like straight from the honestly Cleveland Cavaliers playbook because we see it working in Cleveland. When you got two ball, and they're not selfish. You know what I'm saying? They just score first.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right. So
and that's why I say I would take it for OKC.
So with the Southeast Division, I want to focus on just one team because we talked about on this podcast before, but I'm gonna run through the other teams as well real quick. Just in that division from the bottom to the top. Charlotte, they ain't trying this year. LaMelo just came back. They're not trying, so I'm not gonna give them any type of a blow on this podcast. Orlando is looking good. They look competitive. They didn't make any significant changes aside from drafting Paolo and putting in like the all 6'10", 6'11" lineup with Bo. They are a tough out, I think. Right now, they're 4-3 at home, which means that the team is young, but they know how to win. But they're 0-6 on the road. Young team again. They'll figure it out at some point. Miami, I'm not really worried about Miami right now because that's what Miami does at the beginning of the season. Sheedy can tell you this better than anybody else. Not concerned about Miami. They'll figure it out after Christmas. Washington is doing the thing they did last year where they were winning a lot of games, but it's not very impressive, if that makes sense. For those who can't see it on YouTube, Sheedy was doing a roller coaster. That's exactly what it is. They're up one game, down one game, and they've been down, I think, recently because Bill's been out. Even though Kuz went ham last game, hit like 30, almost 40 points, I believe. So there's that. So I want to focus in on the Atlanta Hawks, ladies and gentlemen, because I have been leaning one way or the other. And so that forced me to do a deep dive. Into the Atlanta Hawks to see if I want to commit to this. They did. I watched the Bucks game. They were at home and they won that game, but they also lost another game recently. So I'm still kind of, right now, I'm unsure. So what I did was I looked long-term in terms of like the perspective of the Atlanta Hawks. And I try to figure out, is this sustainable long-term? Because regular season is cool. But what about when it comes time for the playoffs? So this is what I did in my deep dive. And gentlemen, feel free to hop in whenever y'all want to. Trae Young is averaging a career high in field goal attempts. Like I thought he would drop, honestly, because of the addition of DeJounte Murray, but he's averaging a career high in field goal attempts. So is DeJounte Murray averaging a career high in field goal attempts, which I found to be interesting. But it makes sense because those are two best players. Give them the ball, let them go to work. Trae Young, as of right now, today is Sunday, November 13th, he's averaging a career low in field goal percentage and 3-point percentage, despite the Hawks being, 8-5, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He's increased his catch and shoot threes by 1 attempt per game. So we know that Trae Young is not a catch and shoot player. He's a dribble, step back, shoot type player. So the fact that he is shooting at least one more three per game off a catch and shoot, that says something to me. Like, okay, he's trying to change some things up. DeJounte Murray, I mentioned before about the career high in field goal attempts. He's also having a career high in steals and blocks. He had that one game where he had like 6 steals. That man was in them pockets. So what I take from that is that the Hawks, at least initially, as I was doing my research, they are a guard-dependent, guard-dominant team on both sides of the ball, which, again, can rack up regular season wins because at the end of the day, if Trae Young and DeJounte Murray are better than your backcourt, they're going to win them games more times than not. They should anyway. My concern, which leads to my struggle with the commitment to buying in the stock of the Atlanta Hawks, is the in-between game. So like John Collins is averaging, I think, a career low in attempts, and I think he's low in points as well too. John Collins is relying upon those lobs, the mid-range jumper, and the occasional three as well too. However, DeAndre Hunter is on the up and up. He's a 3-and-D player. He's averaging a career high 15 points a game, which I like, but DeAndre Hunter is not a shot creator from the wing. He's tall, 6'6", 6'7" maybe, but he's not a shot. He's not gonna get you a bucket. on his own anyway. And the thing that concerned me the most, and I'll leave it right here, the Hawks are bottom 5 in bench scoring. So what that means for me is if Trae Young gets hurt, or if Trae Young's not on, and if Murray's not on, who is going to pick up the slack for the Hawks, knowing that DeAndre Hunter is not a shot creator, knowing that John Collins don't really fit right now with the team. I don't know how he is, behaviorally with how he feels about his scoring, but they have bottom 5 scoring. You got rid of all your players, and like Kevin Huerter's not here anymore. As far as players that can actually score. So I gotta wait a little bit longer right now, even though Toot was telling me to come on last episode. But right now, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I did a deep dive. So, gentlemen, what y'all think? I don't know.
I can appreciate your deep dive for sure. But the fact that Trae Young is shooting his most shots, in field goal attempts, I don't think that their bench is doing as good as they can do. There's still some potential there, but when you got Young there, he's gonna do his thing. Like, he's a superstar of the team. And you got Jonte Murray, who scoring low, but his career is still high. Not career high, assists is still high. And Trae Young's, he's damn near averaging 10 assists a game. So it's like, they still sharing the ball. But one thing about when we made the top 10 list and y'all felt like DeAndre Hunter was gonna have a better season, I saw this coming. I saw 2 ball dominant, guards coming in and, still doing their thing. But I don't see anybody else taking their game to the next level per se, because you got 2 ball dominant guards who are great, who are good at what they do. So it's still, Hawks are gonna be a good team, but as far as overall player progression, I'm not seeing it, with anybody else this season so far.
Yeah, to jump on that wagon, we've seen this recipe happen before and it not be successful, at least within the playoffs. You can get the team to the playoffs, but not like progress further. And I'm talking about the Portland Trailblazers. Portland Trailblazers would have, McCollum and Lillard. That's all you heard of, right? You didn't really have no one else to pick up the slack, so to speak, at that time. And then when I look at the team itself, to your point, Savage, I mean, like, who is coming off the bench, right? Like, and you're at a point where, like, you have to leave in one or the other during the time. So if Murray's out there, then Young could take a break and spill, and then we reverse. But to your point, if one of them is hurt, who does pick up the slack? Of these 25 assists that they give out a night, 17 of them are from Young or Murray. 17.
I gotta see who they assisted to, because I'm like, who y'all passing the ball? Is it
to each other?
Is it to each other?
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
Nobody else scoring. Nobody else is scoring, man.
No. They're not. So I agree and I walk with you, but I also believe that this team has enough talent to at least make it to the playoffs. And if they're in the first round scenario, a tough out, if not going further. I believe, they do need someone to help with that bench scoring. I know there's a few kind of tenured players that could probably make a little noise off the bench, but they won't go that much further. They're not going to make the East Conference Finals again like they did, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was, when they made a phenomenal run. That's not going to happen. That was back when the Knicks thought they were something. Yeah. So I don't see it, but I do believe in them to make it that far, because to the point I made, the Trailblazers always had those 2 guards, and they made at least to the playoffs. So I believe in them. I just don't believe these birds will fly that high once it comes to playoff time.
I think if they can add a player that can put 10 to 12 points off the bench, that'll be very, very good for the Hawks. And they need to be calling Carmelo Anthony right now. Like, they need to have Carmelo on speed dial. Like, him on the Hawks uniform, that's veteran leadership, and that's buckets off the bench. You get him, I can easily see them top 4 easily, like, for sure.
Similar to what the Blazers did. Bring in Melo. All right, so let's go out west, gentlemen. Sheedy, you had the Northwest division. Speaking of the Blazers, you had the Northwest, and you actually requested the Northwest, if I'm not mistaken. So I want to know why you requested them.
Well, I'm glad you asked. I requested the Northwest for first the bottom team.
Oh my God, Unleashed. Do you? Do you? Because on this podcast, on this here podcast, I said it. I said these dudes finna be trash. And if I'm sorry, I'm taking your shine sheet. I'm sorry. I gotta come in for just a little second. If y'all go to the video, it's actually two videos. One possession of Anthony Edwards standing there with his hands on his hips. Like, look at this bullshit. Look at this BS. And then there's another possession. I think it was Zach Lowe. He posted it on Twitter, and there was a possession of Anthony Edwards going down court. Karl-Anthony Towns going over the middle, had his hand up, didn't get the ball because Edwards saw the guy behind Cat to get the steal, so he didn't pass it. And what Cat big ass do? He ran out of bounds, knowing that if I pass to you out of bounds, it's gonna be a turnover, and that's exactly what happened. This, like, look, the Suns, they figuring it out. The Minnesota Timberwolves are toxic. That's all I'm gonna say. Go ahead, Sheedy.
And the Minnesota Timberwolves felt the need to trade 5 first-round picks for the number one candidate of having COVID. And that, my friends, is the big 3-time defender. I get it. Rudy Gobert, I get it. I was told he was going to be a great thing during the regular season. I know he gets you to the playoffs, I guess. But it's not it. This isn't it. They are shooting. They have a 3-game losing streak. Knicks, Suns. By the way, we talked about the Knicks. They've lost to the Knicks recently. You mentioned the Suns. They lost to the Suns recently. And, of course, they lost to the Grizzlies as well in the last 3 games. They're averaging at least 16 turnovers a game. They're shooting 1 for 3 from the three-point line. That's 33% from the three-point line. They're barely making it at the free throw line. This team is not a team. Now, they had this quick reinsurgence of Kyle Anderson that I believe, but when you trade 5 for 1, and that 1 ain't producing, we hurting. This team may not even make the playoffs. They may not. It's not just about who you have, it's also their coach. Trash. So you got trash mixed with trash. Let's go put it together and recycle it and try it again. Anthony Edwards, get the hell out of there. They made the trade for you. It ain't working. Somebody call up Minnesota, get Karl-Anthony out of there, take D'Angelo, take everybody. Get everybody out of there and just keep take the coach too. Everybody got to go. Everybody goes. But I'm leaving it there. They're 5-8. Despicable. I think the Magic are just 1 game behind them, if you want to be technical about it. And they didn't make any significant trades, but I digress. OKC, we talked about them just a moment ago. Nothing significant there. I mean, 5-7. I'm done with them. Denver, again, I'm not going to talk too much about them. They did, of course, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. They are 5. They are 5th in the Western Conference right now, 8-4. And Joker's playing like he's looking for that Larry Bird, that 3-peat right now. And so I'm not going to sneeze at that. I am going to sneeze at these next 2. First and foremost is Portland. 2, damn it, you're right. The Trailblazers just might be in the playoffs for sure. And it's going to be because of now Donovan Mitchell unfortunately, the most significant move and trade of the offseason happened with the worst team in this division, which was the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Utah Jazz. Ain't that some shit? The most significant trade has this team in the worst division, 5-8. You trade them in the same division, by the way. What were y'all thinking? But anyways, Donovan Mitchell has been one of the best successes. Like on paper, you see him spotlighted, but one person that's not highlighted that much is Jay Grant. Jay Grant, ladies and gentlemen, is averaging 21 and 5. And the backcourt that they got still giving you 40 plus. Jay Grant also, go and look it up, shooting 46% from the 3. Are you kidding me? A missing piece for sure for the Trailblazers. Oh, yeah, sorry. The backcourt's actually giving you 50 a night. Excuse me. Anthony Simon's out there balling like he needs the ball. Damian Lillard's back.
Josh Hart.
They don't need Josh Hart playing. Excuse me. They don't need Carmelo. You're right. Carmelo, you can go somewhere else. This team is balling. Okay. And Jay Grant can also be, I believe, in the contention for MIP because of these type of stats with this type of team. I believe they're not. I know he's getting a lot of numbers in Detroit. That's different. But when you look at how he's getting these points and why, that's phenomenal. And last but not least, I have to talk about the #1 team in the Western Conference. And it comes from the Utah Jazz. They are 10-4. And oh, excuse me, hold on 1 second. Not right now.
We can't even hear Sheedy right now. He done broke the damn.
What the hell? Well,
We still can't hear Sheedy,
I
y'all.
can't hear you, bro.
Sheedy has a mannequin head on the screen right now, and he's trying to fix his. For those of you who don't know, this is why Sheedy has been on PTO, because he's been doing the most. He's been acting out of character.
My apologies. Lori was telling me, is that
That's
right?
Lori from marketing.
Lori from
Lori
marketing.
from marketing. This is Lori from marketing. Lori from marketing. What'd you say? We're 10-4. I'm 22-9. I'm shooting 53% from the field. I am the most improved player this year. The Jazz will be in the playoffs. My God, I couldn't. I believe you, Lord. Yeah, yes, sir. And you need your credit. I'm giving you your credit. The Great White Hype, yes, sir. Lori from marketing, yes, yes, sir. And the Jazz can be in the top 4 in the West at the end of the season. They might be, yes, sir. Yeah, and 22-9 MIP. I got you. Well, I gotta go, Lori, gotta go. Okay. See you at the next coffee break, Lori. Good to see you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Lori from marketing, MIP, most improved player of the season, and we'll have the Jazz in the playoffs. I said what I said.
Oh man, get your boy, bro.
No, I can't.
Whose man is this, bro?
If I had a pink slip, I would pull it out right now. I'll pull out a pink slip because you gotta go. You gotta go. So I don't want to speak on any other team aside from Utah Jazz right now. I watched, what was that? Who did they play? I think it was the Pelicans. And Lori from marketing, because I'm gonna call him Lori from marketing from now on. I'm gonna continue to post pictures of him in a suit because he is Lori from marketing. He had 30 of them things, and like his rookie year, he was balling. I think he had like the rookie record for made threes, if I'm not mistaken, with the Chicago Bulls. And then when he got to Cleveland, it just kind of fell by the wayside. He was playing small forward, out of position. He's a power forward by nature, and so for him, it's something about white men in Utah. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. This is why I said that Pat Bev would not last in Utah because he's too black. You got Lori from marketing, who is like the second coming of freaking Jeff Hornacek, of John Stockton, of Gordon Hayward, of Greg Ostertag, and India. Who else? Andre Karolinko,
Mehmet
Okor. Who else is a white man in Utah? I don't even know who else. But it's something about when you a white man, you go to Utah, you ball out. And I love my white brothers. Shout out to Fat Boy Fadeaway. I love y'all. But when a white man go to Utah, that man balls out. And I'd be damned if Lori from marketing is lighting these fools up. Anybody can get it. Black, white, purple, green, blue. He giving it to you 30, 20, 15 rebounds. He doing the damn thing. He doing the damn thing.
And before you go, I also have to say, this is a team that is a symbol of players that are trying to prove themselves. And they have absolutely nothing to lose on a nightly basis. And they're proving it every single night. I look Colin Sexton, another one in there, who's playing. He's playing like he's deserving of the 17 million that he was requesting. Actually, he was requesting 20 million. Requesting 20 million a season from somewhere. But listen, this team is going to be a tough out. They're going to play tough. They're going to play hard because they absolutely have nothing to lose. And they are led by that man, Lori, from marketing.
I think that's everything. Like, you got a team that's nothing to lose. That's one of the most deadliest teams. I'm not giving them as far as the excitement go, but when you got a team with none to lose, like the We Believe Warriors, and can make anything happen, we saw what they did. And I'm not giving it to that extent, but they literally have nothing to lose. All of their players are hungry players that want a shot to be good or great. Laurie for Marketing doing this damn thing. Jordan Clarkson, we've been seeing him miss the consistent last 3-4 years and put up 15 plus points a game. That's there. Colin Sexton, a Bull since Alabama. 3-on-5, come on, bro. And he still almost won. That's dog mentality. And you got a mentor, Mike Conley that's showing him the ropes. And don't get me started what Mike Conley did for Memphis. You know what I'm saying? So you just all that and mixed with my guy Kelly O. You know what I'm saying? We talk about white players. That's my guy. That's what my guy since he was at Houston, and he helped me win my fantasy basketball league. He's doing his damn thing right now too. So shout out to him. Shout out to just the Jazz. They ain't the trap Jazz, but you know what I'm saying? They're good. They're a good basketball team.
They're a pop Jazz right now.
Pop Jazz. There we go. Pop Jazz. I like it. Pop Jazz. I like it. They're just a team full of hungry players, bro. And they're exciting to watch. And I hope they don't get injured just so we can know how good that they can be. So that's all I say about the Jazz. Everything on that.
I can't see them lasting at number 1 too long, but they're gonna mess around beating the playoffs. I think they're gonna mess around beating the playoffs because they
stamp it right now.
When you see like that team like play, they play for each other. Like literally, it works. And we gotta give the coach shout out, Will Hardy from the Boston Celtics coaching staff. Something about Boston coaches right now, y'all. They make it do what it do. And he's doing a good job for the Utah Jazz. I hope they make playoffs just because 1, they look good, even though 2, their uniforms are still trash. Like, I don't care how good they playing. They get them trash ass uniforms out of here.
Oh, they can upgrade them for the playoffs or something.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. They just need to bring back them Jeff Hornaceks there.
Yes.
Bring them on back.
Gordon Giracheches. Yeah, do that. All right, take us to the West Coast.
Yes, sir. So we're gonna start off, of course, where I guess, damn it, I am. Team leading this the Pacific Division, the Phoenix Suns. We're gonna start off there. Devin Booker still doing this thing, even though they didn't add anybody. They still a top 4 team, believe it or not. And honestly, that's crazy to say because you got 2 players in DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul who are having their career lows in points right now. That's unexpected. And DeAndre Ayton's averaging his career low in points, rebounding, and minutes per game. So I'm not sure what's going there. It's still chemistry issues there, but the fact that they're still a top 4 team is still kind of honestly shocking to me because I didn't expect it. But we'll see by trade deadline what happened with them because I honestly don't see how they're still a top 4 team. But I guess it's still culture, right? You've been top 1 for the last 2 years. You take a step back and you still top 4. That's still culture. We got the Clippers who, if you want to say added a player, I mean, I guess 2 players with John Wall and Kawhi Leonard, who didn't play all last season, looking like the same case for this season, damn it. But you know what I'm saying? Their coach is still there. I believe they're still a top 5 team as well. On let me see. They're top 8 team. I'm sorry, top 8 seed in the Western Conference playoffs start today. They'd be in still. With that culture, they're still in a winning team, but it's just once they get Kawhi back, they're gonna be a better team for sure. But until they get Kawhi back, we won't know.
It's weird with him right now, man. I don't know what's up. It's like it's looking real San Antonio Spurs right now. It's kind of weird.
And just to be petty right now, is Paul George the best player in LA right now?
Yeah. I mean, it ain't 80 LeBron.
Yeah, it's nothing to be petty about.
80 LeBron.
It's nothing to be petty about.
That's crazy. All right, so of course, like I said, don't have to spend too much time that nobody was added there. The Kings, Keegan Murray's doing his thing. They're actually 3rd in their division in the Pacific, and De'Aaron Fox still averaged about the same, but he said that there's something changing in that culture within that team, and you can kind of see it. Like I said, they're 5-6. They're a game away from 500. They are, I guess, a better team, but you got a lot of teams in this division who shouldn't be taking L's, and one of them is the Golden State Warriors. Of course, they're the champions. They still probably got the championship hangover. I get it, but when they get going, how is it going to look? Is Klay Thompson's averaging his career low right now, and I don't see it getting better right now. Jordan Poole's still the same player that we saw last year, maybe averaging assists more. You know what I'm saying? Draymond, who ain't getting paid, who's still on the championship hangover. If I'm not financially secure, I'm not gonna put my all into it. I done given my heart soul for y'all, and y'all can't pay me what I'm worth. Y'all can't pay me what I'm worth. That's BS. And I think you're seeing a combination of that while Steph Curry is averaging his career high. It's weird. Like, it's weird what's going on in the Warriors right now. Steve Kerr got to get some ish going because James Wiseman, ain't no way in hell he should have the MPs. Coach decision. No way in hell. I'm sorry, and I get he's young, blah, 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 whatever. He's still a young player. Play him. Play the man. Kaminga got a
trade
couple.
him, get him out to do something.
Or trade him or
Let's play somewhere else.
Get assets. And Sheedy, you talk about, Cat, ring. You know what I'm saying? Cat don't want to be, and we'll talk about Utah for sure. I'm not Utah, Minnesota, because I was wrong about that one, and we'll talk about it. But when you talk about the Warriors, you got players who kind of don't want to be there because I think Dre and Clay are a package deal at this point, in my opinion. If they don't get traded together, I'll be shocked. And you got to make the money work, and you getting all these things happening. It's like once the Warriors start clicking, if they start clicking, what are they gonna look like? Are they gonna be still that championship team that we hope to see, or are they gonna be a player that's like, I'm just doing this so I don't get fined type ish? So the Warriors in an interesting position. I hope they get their ish together. And last but not least, the Lakers. We knew that was gonna be a bad team, but damn. 2-10. Damn, let me let me look up the league because they're the second worst team in the league by stats, and
they can't get Victor. God dog.
They can't
even get Victor.
So shit, that's going to New Orleans. So hey, let's be real. I made it, and let's talk about this, y'all. Let's be real. About a year ago, when Russell signed with the Lakers, I had a theory that out of Russ, LeBron, and AD, that Russ was going to be there the longest because he actually wants to be there. LeBron, you already got your championship. You got Space Jam up under your belt. Do you really want to be a Laker right now? Especially with rumors that you want to be around your son? That's questionable. You got AD, whose health is questionable. Don't nobody even want AD at this point. And that's crazy because we know he's a top 5 player in his position for sure when he's healthy. But at this point, commandment number, whatever, if a player shows you who you are, you gotta believe him. Anthony Davis may be done, so it may be time. I know it's when Stephen A. said it's time to trade LeBron, people looked at him crazy. Nah. At this point, to salvage the Lakers franchise, to get pieces back and to get players back, you're gonna have to trade LeBron James. And crazy enough, it's crazy for me to say what I said about Kevin Durant in Memphis and not say LeBron James in Memphis. If you think about any player, if you think about a team, any team in the league that can give the Lakers what they want, just like I said about the Nets, it's the Memphis Grizzlies. If you think about my theory of Penny Hardaway doing the damn thing, and shout out to him for getting Mikey Williams, of Bronny going to Memphis, why not make that call? Who do the Lakers want? You know what I'm saying? We're not giving y'all Bane, we're not giving y'all job. We can give up anybody else, and we got draft pick. What y'all want to do? Easy.
If anything, though, like LeBron's contract is up. Well, he has a player option after next season, and he will opt out of that player contract because
he got a player option because I heard otherwise.
Next year, it's next year.
Okay.
I just looked at the spot rate. His player option at the end of 2024. Bronny will be a college student during that season. So after
in Memphis, yeah.
Hey. So with that being said, I said trade LeBron 2 years ago. I said it like maybe the year after they won the championship, and then the year after that, I was like, nah, trade him now. Because like LeBron is old, y'all. Like, I mean, we see it not because he can't play basketball, the man can play. He got a lot of injuries now. Like LeBron used to never get injured. But that first one with the Lakers, his first year, they're growing a little after Christmas. It's been downhill. It's been downhill since then. And so like the Lakers, they have the terrible situation of not only being an old ass roster, but having no means of getting younger because you have no draft picks. And in order to trade Westbrook, what? You got to trade draft picks because nobody wants Westbrook by himself. And so I know the Lakers, they are a franchise built on bringing in players, but you even hear rumors now of the Busses selling parts of the franchise now. Like the Bus family, their business is the Lakers, kind of like Jerry Jones. He was an oil person. Now he's just the Cowboys. The Cowboys gonna be sustainable for a long time, forever. That's the most profitable franchise in probably all of sports right now. The Lakers don't look too good, and if you live in LA, if you're not good, people ain't going to the games. And so you got to find a means to make that team more profitable. How do you do that? By winning actual games. The moment LeBron's not there, they in trouble. They literally are in trouble because you don't have to go to LA anymore. You can go be a star in Memphis, Ja Morant. You can go be a star, somewhere else and make it happen. So no longer is the lure of LA a thing anymore. But they don't have any way of getting younger or getting any more entertaining, because right now in this player empowerment era of the NBA, you can be a star anywhere you want to be. It ain't got to be in LA. It can be damn near in Memphis, in New Orleans, in Sacramento. You ain't got to do all that. So Lakers, I think they in trouble. They should have been traded LeBron, in my opinion. But I mean, you made a deal with the devil, and here we are.
Literally.
Yeah, this team hasn't looked good since realistically the bubble. Last season, this season, what have you. Not to gloss over the Lakers, but I will say this: what LeBron has brought to the franchise that he's come to, right? Miami, back to Cleveland. He's brought significant wealth with it as well, being someone from Ohio. Like, I was there when they burned the jerseys, and I had to remember when they welcomed them back and they won the championship, and how much money they brought. Because if it wasn't for LeBron, I'm be honest, Cleveland would have never gotten an All-Star game. Let's just be fair. No one's going to Cleveland for an All-Star game, right? And so where does LeBron go? Who knows? Like you said, too, nobody wants AD. Westbrook is actually playing much better off the bench. Not even just statistically, but just like mentally, he's playing better. And so I'll just stop and digress. I don't want to talk about the Lakers that much. I do want to mention another team within this division, which is the Sacramento Kings. They started off 0-4. Since being 0-4, they have been 5-2 in that time. Their only 2 losses were by a combined total of 6 points. And they lost to the Warriors and the Heat, 2 teams that are for sure should be in the playoff contention. But I do want to highlight them as well, just because they didn't make any like significant roster moves. They made a significant move as the king of the board, with Mike Brown being their coach. And so kudos to the Kings. Right now, I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but the way this whole division is shaping up, I thought this was the best division in basketball to start the season off. But with Kawhi, not knowing, I read reports, he's just now starting back 5-on-5 right now. He's not even really ramping it up yet. The Warriors are, they're tipsy-turvy. Unless Curry's going for 40, the pool is closed again, I think, because, Lord have mercy. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he slipped and fell. The Lakers are the second worst team. To be honest, to me, I think they're the worst team in basketball, because there's the talent that they have. They shouldn't be 2-10. So to me, they're the worst team in basketball. And who's the other team in the division? The Suns. The Suns are playing decent. They're the 4th seed. They're winning games at the end of the day. Will things, I think, once the trade deadline happens, there might be some shakeups, yes. But the Suns are right now the class of that division, and I don't believe that should be. I believe it should be the Warriors, and it should be the Clippers. And the Clippers are limping. To your point, Paul George is the best player in LA. He is. And he shouldn't be. But let's be honest, and he should not be. But he is, and it is what it is right now. But shout out to the Kings. And I hope that they just continue to give forth their best effort every time they're out there. Because again, to lose the last 2 games by 6 points combined, phenomenal.
I got a trade suggestion since we're doing trade option. Would y'all trade Karl Anthony Towns for Clay and Draymond?
Yesterday.
And that's on both sides.
Yes.
That's on both sides.
Yes.
I think it fits definitely for the Timberwolves in terms of spacing, because right now they are cluttered in the middle with Gobert there. If I'm the Warriors, I wouldn't do it because I don't want Rudy Gobert. I already got Kevin Looney. I don't need any other person to stand in the paint when I got Kevin.
You mean Karl Anthony Towns?
Oh, Karl Towns. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, no, I say Rudy. Oh no.
I was about to say, wait a minute. In that case,
Clay and Dre for Cat.
I think you take a hit defensively though. Like Draymond, for me, Draymond's too important to what we do for the culture of our team, which I think is why
we don't want him anyway. We don't want you anyway because we would have paid you by then.
That's crazy, man.
You know what I'm saying? Clay about to be on out of here too.
Now, what they need to do as a franchise, the Warriors, because they're not playing Moody anymore, they're not playing Kuminga anymore, and you're not playing Wild. These are all first-round picks in recent years, and none of them are playing. Get them out of here. Get him out of here and trade for. If it is Cat, then go get Cat. If it is, hell, I don't know who else you can get for because them players. I mean, like Kuminga, he can't shoot. Moody for some reason not playing. I haven't noticed Moody that much. And then Wiseman literally does not fit what they want to do. Wiseman needs the ball in order to do well. So maybe a better trade for the Warriors would be the Pacers to get Miles Turner, and maybe Buddy Hield would be a better option. So maybe Dre, Clay, and them young players for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield and whatever, how they make the money work might be a better option for the Warriors.
I mean, you can do separate deals for that though.
You could, yeah, you could. But I personally wouldn't want Cat. I would rather have Miles Turner for the purpose of blocking shots and getting boards. Cat don't play defense. He don't even try on defense, in my opinion.
Yeah, he got the numbers, but yeah, you're right. It's fake defense. I thought at once upon a time I did think he was real defense. Nah, he just get the numbers.
Nah, he'll be trying. He run around doing
it's a difference, ladies and gentlemen, between getting 10 boards and getting 10 boards and playing defense. It's a
correct.
difference.
Correct. All right, last division is the Southwest. I will run through it real quick. Southwest, we got the Rockets. Rockets are a young team. They got to figure out what they're going to do with their backcourt. They just paid Kevin Porter Jr. He's not a point guard. They got to figure out something with their point guard. Maybe they need Scoot Henderson in the draft. Maybe that's what they want to do if they don't get Victor. And Jabari Smith is struggling, y'all. From Auburn, he's struggling bad. Like, it's ugly. Like Tari Eason, way better. What's the other guy's name? Some other guy for the right is better than him. Jabari Smith ain't hooping right now. He can't dribble. He can't. The Spurs. Keldon Johnson? Yeah, Keldon Johnson. He's playing how I wanted him to play, like about 22, 23 points a game. They still are kind of like treading water right now as a franchise. And I think they just want their young players to play well this season, which you getting out of Trey Jones, of course, Tyus Jones' brother. What's the guy's name? Devin, is it Vassell? Who's like, he's shooting lights out right now. He killed the Grizzlies the other day. And Jeremy Sohan, like, you just get your young players playing. But at some point, if I'm them, I'm like, hey, man, we got to get Victor in here to kind of solidify the young core. So San Antonio, I mean, as a Grizz fan, please continue to win games. But for a basketball fan, keep the main thing, and that's getting Victor Wembanyama. Next up, after the Spurs, we got the Pelicans. The Pelicans are kind of figuring things out as well, too. They didn't make any significant changes this year, aside from getting Zion on a full-time basis. But I think for them to be 7-6, I expected them to be a little bit better. But the fact that they're in playoff contention right now is about what I want to see anyway out of the Pelicans. The next two teams are the ones I do want to talk about. With the Mavericks, Mavericks are 7-5 right now, and they're 6-1 at home, which is cool, but they're 1-4 on the road, which is concerning for me. And that points to what I mentioned in the group chat earlier, was Luka's struggles as the game progresses. And that lets me know, which we already know, Luka, I ain't got to look it up right now. I'm pretty sure Luka got the highest player usage in the NBA. It's probably a big gap. It's probably Luka, James Harden, and everybody else. And I thought that they would probably get more out of Christian Wood, who's been hurt recently. I think he averaged about 16 a game, if I'm not mistaken. But he's been hurt. He just came back recently. But Christian Wood has the fourth highest plus minus on the team. Right under him is Luka Doncic. Again, Dallas, please start him. Like, what are we doing right now? If you're not starting him, play him more minutes. Like, we got to figure something out with that. So I am concerned about the Mavericks as far as like their staying power. And I know Took mentioned it before, as far as Luka playing in the Olympic Games. That might, not Olympics, but the FIBA or whatever it was, overseas, EuroLeague. His playing in the EuroLeague so late into the summer might have an impact on the way that he manages himself throughout the season. For him to be struggling so early right now, either he's out of shape that he can't, get his shots up in the third and fourth quarter, or he's being used entirely too much, knowing you got shooters around you. So personally, I think this is where you miss Jalen Brunson, who can take the ball out of Luka's hands and, play that on-ball guard. But right now, for them to be 7-5, disappointing in my opinion, because I had them as a West Conference contender to be in the finals. And right now, it don't really look like it right now. On the flip side, though, the Grizzlies, like, I thought that they would struggle because of Jaren Jackson's absence. I think they struggled mightily. I had him as like a 6 seed going into Christmas, but Desmond Bane is here, ladies and gentlemen. I called him All-Star Bane as the season started. Desmond Bane is here, and it is a problem. We've compared him, I think, just naturally to like Klay Thompson because the jumper is pure. Ladies and gentlemen, he's better. Like, in my opinion, he's better than Klay Thompson at his peak.
I second that.
He's better. Like, playing, he's sitting in that chair on defense. He gets assists on the ball as a chance for Ja to take a break on the ball. He is on the ball a great like facilitator. And the shot, ladies and gentlemen, Desmond Bane is shooting about 8-9 threes a game and shooting damn near 47%. What that mean? If a shot goes up 1 out of 2 times, it's going in. That's scary. Normally you like, oh, 38%, that's good. 39, 37, 36, 35% is good. 46.5% from 3. That is a problem. Now, it ain't sustainable, but if Desmond Bane getting up 8-9 shots, that's a big ass sample size, y'all. It's a big ass sample size. And I said it on podcasts previously. I don't want to see Ja having to score 30, 40 points a game. For me, knowing Ja how it's been the past 2-3 years, not sustainable for him and for the Grizzlies. But if we get about 20, 30 from Ja, about 28 from Bane, all I need is 18, 19 from the Unicorn coming soon this week. That's all I need from Jaren. I just need 17, 18 points, make about 1, 2 threes, give me at least 7 rebounds, and do you on defense. Just be you on defense. This team could be the number 1 seed very quickly. And everybody is healthy. Steven Adams playing out of his mind right now. How the hell is Steven Adams getting paid only $12 million, I think, and freaking Rudy Gobert getting 41 M's? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. So the Grizzlies, they, as far as the big changes they made, they have added younger players, and in Jaren's absence, they're getting valuable time. David Roddy, Jake LaRavia, who like Mike Miller 2.0. Junior in the G League doing this thing. Chandler's not playing right now, obviously, but the players they did bring in, and they're getting substantial time. Like, the culture of the Grizzlies, like, is working. And honestly, as a Memphian, it's scary because it's like you see Voltron forming right now, to where it's like similar to like the Warriors from years past, where you see Steph, you see Clay, you see Livingston, you see Draymond, you see all these pieces coming together to make it work, and they all like each other. That to me is indicative of what you want out of your franchise in terms of like championship aspirations. So for some reason, everybody want to hate on the Grizzlies. Like, y'all chill. Like, they 23 years old. Let them have fun, man. But yeah, so I'm surprised both ways, with one, the Mavericks being kind of mid right now, and then 2, the Grizzlies, again, I have them in the playoffs going to Christmas as 6 seed. They're far exceeding what I thought they would do without Jaren. And like I said, Jaren coming back look like this week. He went from out to doubtful. And if you know Grizzlies injury reports, doubtful means, hey, I'm coming. That's what that means. So, but yeah, thoughts on the Southwest Division.
Man, I like everything that you said about really all the teams. The Grizzlies, I went to my first game in a couple of years, this past Monday. And it was something that I love seeing just on a regular game basis. Of course, we lost. We played against the Celtics, but it was a good game and the energy was there, right? And when you talk about, you make the comparison between Desmond Bane and Klay Thompson, and we both feel like, and hopefully it's all 3 of us, feel like that Desmond Bane is better than Klay Thompson. If you were to rate them, okay, well, let's rate them. Klay Thompson, 10, three-pointer 10. Let's get Desmond Bane because he's still doing this thing, 9.5. Cool. Defense, Desmond Bane. Body, like no homo, body, Desmond Bane. Finishing at the rim is what's key here. We got a bona fide scorer outside of Ja Morant, and it's crazy to see because I don't think we've ever had this. This is what OJ Mayo was supposed, in my opinion, this is what OJ Mayo was supposed to be back when we got him. And we're seeing it now, and it's great to see in Desmond Bane, and we're loving his progression. And we just the overall culture, like I think people hate on what you're saying, Savage. You don't like why people hate us. You got to think, man, I seen my Carolina Panthers go to the Super Bowl and the world hated us, all because we were having fun playing football. That's it, bro. The Grizz are having fun playing basketball. We've been doing it for the last 2-3 years. and people don't want us to succeed. They want us to, I guess, shut up and dribble, or go back to the locker room and don't do shit after playing the game. No, we're gonna be in y'all face about it. Y'all want to beat us. And until then, we're gonna be a half game from the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. Point blank period. As far as Dallas go, I think you and Trev made the same point about them missing Spencer Dinwiddie, but not Spencer, Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
And I said that it's kind of crazy because Spencer Dinwiddie's averaging 19 a game right now. So he's kind of more than filling in with Jalen Brunson, shoes. But the fact that they are mid, I think it's kind of like a scheme thing. Maybe I'm not sure why they're not performing as well. It may be that Luka's getting exhausted by the end of games, which I guess by the numbers say that's true right now. I guess so. It's factual. So I guess later down the road we'll see what kind of Mavericks team. I still think it's kind of too early because we may see Christian Wood end up starting hopefully soon. So it may be a little bit too early, but I think you were spot on as far as the Mavs and everybody else goes as well.
Yeah, I'll start with the Grizzlies as well first, and then move over to the Mavericks. The team you talked about before, Savage, you talked about the Atlanta Hawks and how they had no one, right, coming off the bench, or who was their scoring coming from off the bench. And then you flip the script now, and you look at the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have 10 points coming from Tyus Jones off the bench. Brandon Clark giving you 10 points off the bench. John Conchar giving you 7 points off the bench. Jake LaRavia giving you 6 points off the bench. Right there, it's almost 35 points off the bench, right? On top of having a backcourt that's giving you 29 and 25. That's phenomenal. That's what we've been looking for. That's what we've been needing. And the question is going to be, when Triple J comes back, where does he fit into all this? How does this work? And ladies and gentlemen, I hope everyone's listening, including Grizzlies fans, all of that. If you're going to praise Jaren Jackson for the first game he's back or the second game he's back, that he does exceptionally well, then make sure you also critique him for the first game that he doesn't do well. Or give that man at least 10 games to get it together before we make all these things about, this is what we need. It's not what we need, because it's not fair. And I really get tired of that. I really do. And it's us as Grizz Media that says, for instance, Dylan Brooks gave you one great game where he was shooting the lights out, right? And then what were the next 2, 3, 4 games?
2 for 18.
Right on back to 18. Right on back to Dylan Brooks Island, right? And so I want to say give him some time, especially as a big man. There comes a time where you have to relearn everything like that, especially with those types of injuries. And you talk about the Mavericks. They did lose Jalen Brunson, a ball handler, and Spencer Dinwiddie is stepping up. And Christian Wood is there, but Tim Hardaway's got to give me more. I'm looking at this team. You got Luka giving you 34 a night, Spencer giving you 19, Christian Wood giving you 16, Tim Hardaway gives you 12. And after that, no one is scoring in the double digits. So when you ask why is Luka falling down pretty much after the first quarter, no one else is really stepping up to the plate, to be honest. Besides maybe a Spencer and a Christian and Tim Hardaway every now and then. But Tim Hardaway, you're supposed to be the shooter. Tim Hardaway, within this offense and flow of the game, should be giving you about 16 points a game, to be honest. With losing Jalen Brunson, Tim Hardaway should be elevating himself points per game, and he's not thus far. And I don't know if, again, Christian Wood coming off the bench or leave or put him in certain role will help or not. What I do know is Tim Hardaway has to give you more. Finney Smith's got to give you more. And Reggie Bullock, he's supposed to be a shooter, and he's only averaging, 5 points a game. I could lace him up right now and give you about 5 points a game. Okay, so Luka needs help. That's what the stats that you're reading about from the first quarter to the fourth quarter are telling you that Luka needs help. And if Luka doesn't get the continuous help that he needs, this team is going to struggle. I am still with Tugan with this. I'm still believing that this is a team that is going to contend, not only just in the Western Conference, but Western Conference Finals as well, and maybe even the Finals. But right now, there needs to be some type of small change even within how the lineups go, what play calls we're doing, Jason Kidd, because we have to get these other guards that are supposed to be your shooters, because you surrounded Luka with shooters to really shoot, and score. This league, there are players across the league that shouldn't be averaging 20 points a game that are. But I can't find that with the Mavericks. That's a problem because Luka's giving you 34, right? But someone else has taken, and Luka's not always going to be a score first type of guy either. He balances his points and he tries to get his assists as well. He's at 8 assists right now and giving you 9 rebounds. My God, this man needs a timeout and a double, okay? Because he's doing way too much, way too much. So Jason Kidd will figure it out. What I saw last playoffs, Jason Kidd will figure it out. I just hope it's not too late. That's
What I'd like to see is more lineups with Luka Doncic off ball. Like if they can get to a point where Luka Doncic is not the starting point guard, I think they'll play a little bit better, especially throughout the game. Like Luka numbers won't drop, throughout the game, especially if he's not on ball. So I think if they can add Spencer or somebody else in the point guard position next to him in the backcourt, I think they'll play a lot better, a lot smoother.
So, last thing with the Grizzlies, I'll just wrap it up here with the Southwest. But I said it last year. In the midst of them playing the Timberwolves, this team could take a punch, man. Like all this slander that media gives them, like they can take a punch. They're gonna talk, and if you beat them, they'll say, "All right, you beat us. We coming back next round. That's what we're gonna do." So I'm not concerned about them. Keep doing your thing, Grizzlies. Just keep talking, keep hyping up the post game interviews. Just keep doing what you do, and we'll ride with you. There ain't no problem at all. All right, to wrap us up with the Nike shoe deal topic.
So what I wanted to do, and I'll be fully transparent, was find players' shoe sales for like their first week or their first year. And I couldn't do it. So if anybody got the information, please send it to me. But I feel like Nike's next move as far as promoting shoe deals, because they just suspended the Kyrie Irving 8. And I'm pretty sure this will be the last deal that Kyrie Irving have with Nike, seeing that the people he offended within the high ranks of Nike, he offended them. So I'm pretty sure we won't see any more Kyries through Nike. But that being said, there's a superstar that's going to have his own shoe deal by the spring of 2023. The cost going to be about $110, and that player is Ja Morant. So what I wanted to say and kind of compare what his first week shoe deals compared to everybody else's. That's all I really want to do. But I think the next big shoe is going to come from Ja Morant, because he's the most cultured player in the league. He's going to be the face of the franchise in a few more years. And we got the Nike outlet in Memphis. So they're going to be pumping them shoes out. And it costs. $110 is not bad. Hopefully Nike decides to keep it that way, but they may increase it, seeing how the Kyrie Irvings, which are some of the most stylish shoes that Nike had, in my opinion, they were the most stylish shoes. You're not going to have that money and that fashion, statement that you had anymore. So I think with the Jaws, Nike is gonna be able to use Ja, to get back into that arena. But them losing Kyrie hurt. So I just wanted to kind of just set the expectations of the Ja Morant shoe deal and say it's gonna be one of the bigger, shoe, sales as far as like a year to date sales that we're gonna see. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, for sure, man. Because I never did I think that there would be and of course, Penny never played for the Grizzlies. He's just a Memphis lifer with the Tigers, and just his impact on the city with AAU basketball. But never did I think that there would be, or there would like come a bigger figure. And again, I think Ja could be that dude in Memphis. Like Penny Hardaway big, and this is a big step up. But if Ja Morant wins a championship, releases shoes, he will transcend even just the city of Memphis. He will transcend the world in terms of just like being the face of the Nike shoes right now. Again, Kyrie, he's not on the level in terms of like, popularity. Ja's more popular than Kyrie Irving, period. Like that's not a joke about that. But I think that Ja Morant has that potential, and this, as Took mentioned, this shoe deal is the first step. With Kyrie's situation, he's out at Nike. He might do somewhere else. I don't know. But with Nike, the most profitable shoe company in the entire world, Ja Morant is next in line. It's been announced. Everybody's excited about it. Even going beyond even like Ja Morant, just the vibes in Memphis and the attention to detail with the culture from the social media team to the Bleacher Report paraphernalia with the 3 6 Mafia inspired jerseys and hoodies. if you go down that thread of all the jerseys and shirts that they released from Bleacher Report, by far the Memphis one had the most likes and retweets. And so I'm gonna assume that that energy will be transferred to Ja Morant in the shoe deal, because you already know they're gonna make a dope ass shoe for Ja Morant. Ja Morant ain't putting no trash on his feet. Ja Morant has worn KD's, again, fire shoes. He's worn Kobe's, again, fire shoes. So we know that the shoe is going to be exactly how Ja Morant wants it, and it's going to be in tune with what the streets want, because Ja Morant is like in tune with the culture of hip hop, the streets, all that type of stuff. So I definitely agree too. This is we're about to see, again, if it all aligns perfectly with what I mentioned with like Voltron forming in Memphis, a great NBA team, a great NBA player, Nike, the most profitable shoe company in the world. This could be the biggest thing we've seen, like as far as like a player and his impact, like across the entire thing. Like Luka Doncic got shoes right now. Nobody cares.
Giannis got shoes.
Nobody cares. Yeah, nobody
Nike.
cares. Nobody cares about that. Zion got shoes. Nobody cares. But when Ja Morant releases these shoes, we are going to see whether or not this is the real deal or not. Of course, Ja Morant got to deliver on the NBA championship. It might not come this year. It might come next year, year after that. But so long as the team is doing what they're supposed to be doing and they continue to progress in the direction that they are progressing in, this could be the biggest thing that we have seen in Memphis. And if you're from Memphis or you've heard about Memphis, you know this is Hoop City. From the Tigers to now the Grizzlies, Penny Hardaway to Lorenzen Wright to Elliot Perry to Andre Turner to all these players that came through the city of Memphis. This is a huge deal. And I hope to see that. I hope it works out for Ja Morant, for the Grizzlies, and for the entire city of Memphis.
Yeah, and if I could just add on to what has already been stated earlier, I talked about how in Cleveland, right, when LeBron left Cleveland, they burned the jerseys downtown, looked a mess, all these things, right. But when he came back, how glorified he was and what it meant to be a Cavs fan again. Ja's not going nowhere, for one. For two, he is making this a big deal in a great way. Again, someone's going to want to come and play here now. They drafted Desmond Bain, right? We drafted Jaren Jackson Jr., but there's going to be another star, someone else that wants to come and play, and this money is going to keep funneling in through Memphis, not because of anyone else but Ja Morant. Ja Morant needs to go ahead and run for mayor. Go ahead and lock him in with the vote. I don't care if he's Democratic, Republican.
Oh, he'll win. He will win.
Easily.
It's not even a question. Not even a question, right? Give him more than just the keys to the city, because he is the city. And he is everything that Memphis is. He embodies that, camera on or camera off. We talked about y'all don't like him dancing on the floor. Well, not y'all, but people don't like him dancing on the floor. Guess what? Beat me then, and I won't dance. And 9 wins and 4 losses, and 4 of those losses came to 3 different teams. One was the Jazz, twice. Oh well, but those other 2 losses happened. This team is good, and they're still missing what's quote unquote another cornerstone piece of their franchise. So Ja Morant, Ja ones, you can sign me up for maybe a pair of 4, because I need him for the whole family.
I actually got one more thing just to have some fun with y'all. I want to ask y'all how much y'all think this shoe for Ja will be valued. And I'm gonna throw some numbers there real quick. On an annual basis, Michael Jordan makes $130 million a year from his shoes. LeBron, it goes all the way, which is why Jordan is the greatest. Remember, I said 130. LeBron makes $32 million from his shoes. I mean, when you talk about
I have never owned a pair of LeBrons. I've never owned a pair. I've owned Melos, the Melo ones, dope shoes.
Oh yeah,
but the LeBrons, I've never owned a pair. I haven't. They look ugly. They clunky. I ain't hooping in that mess.
So we got Kevin Durant at 26 million. You got Steph Curry at 20 million. You got the late Kobe, 16 million still. James Harden, 14. Zion, 13 million. And D Wade and Russ, 12 million. Kyrie, who we're just talking about, Kyrie and Derrick Rose are actually tied for 11 million. So you telling me Ja can't crack?
How much does Steph make?
20 million from Under Armour.
He clearing it. Cause he clearing it.
It's going to be hard It's going to be hard. And the only reason I say that because of the fan base that Steph Curry has, because this is international money, I assume. He's got a lot of followers overseas. I think more Ja's fans are here right now until we get to that overseas money. But who in the hell is buying James Harden shoes? What in the hell? No. You said LeBron's are ugly. James Harden shoes look like shit.
And this is for the people who has something to say about Kanye leaving Adidas, but that's neither here nor there.
Hey, as far as like the comparison with Steph and Ja, I think what's gonna push Ja over the top is the fact that it's Nike. And now I think Steph's biggest purchasers are probably some rich white kids who probably just get them because this Steph Curry, I like Steph Curry. You know, he's friendly. Whereas now, well, actually, what could hurt is if the Nike train gets gets jumped here in Memphis and they take all the shoes away, which takes away the profit from that. So if you're in Memphis, please don't do that, y'all. Like if Ja Morant shoes
Him
aren't
is
in
savage.
Memphis, dude, I'm just saying, like,
Him is savage.
please do not steal Ja
Let's be
Morant
real.
shoes. Can we get retail prices for Ja Morant shoes, ladies and gentlemen? Not resale, retail. Can we please just can we buy them? Please do not. I don't want to see a news report on Fox 13, WMC TV, or WREG. I don't want to see no reports on the news that said somebody done jacked the damn train on the way to the Nike warehouse here. Please do not do that, y'all. At least for the Ja Morant, for Jordans, do you. For James Harden's, do you. For Yeezys, do you. But for Demetrius Ja Morant ones, do not jack the train, please.
The fact that you got to make that disclaimer and beg for that not to happen that's crazy, man.
Because it's Memphis, man. It's Memphis, man.
All right, y'all. Good show, man. So we'll be back next week. Because next week is Thanksgiving. Surprise, this month flew by. Next week is Thanksgiving. We are going to do NFL or NBA NFL comparison. So what we will do is we're going to release a tweet on Twitter and just get some suggestions for players that you want us to compare to NFL players. Now, that being said, we ain't doing every single player, but we would like some suggestions of who to compare. So, of course, somebody like Pat Mahomes, Derrick Henry. Give me like an actual notable player. I don't want no Kirk. Well, I want to do Kirk Cousins. I ain't doing that mess. But I don't want any like mid players. Give me some notable Tyreek Hill or whoever else. So be on the lookout for that tweet, and we'll be back next week. So stay safe, be blessed, peace.